Yes. Can I start?
Yes.
I, Alieu Jallow, do solemnly and sincerely and truly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Jallow.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Council, over to you.
Yes, Honorable Chair. Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Jallow.
Good morning, Council.
Kindly state your full name and current designation for the record.
Alieu Jallow is my full name, and my designation is Executive Secretary, National Agency for Legal Aid.
Thank you. Mr. Jallow, can you please give this committee a brief overview of your academic and professional background?
I am someone who has completed high school, of course, to the level of upper 6, and joined university, completed my postgraduate, my undergraduate studies, completed my bar, and as well, I've also done a postgraduate, a master's degree. That's my highest.
And your professional background as well, please.
I'm a lawyer by profession. Council.
Yes, by professional background, I mean, give us just a brief overview of the different the different positions you've held throughout your professional life. Thank you.
Council, thank you. Until at this point when I'm speaking to you, so many people will believe I still work with the media. I have a media background. For 12 good years, I've worked with the national broadcaster. But after that, I have joined the Ministry of Justice since 2012. I've been State Counsel, that's where I started. I've moved in as Acting Registrar General. I've served as the Registrar of Companies. And I've also, held the office of the Creator of Interstate Estate for a period of 1 year before my designation as the Executive Secretary of the National Agency for Legal Aid. So virtually I've worked in all the departments within the Ministry of Justice, except a few.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jallow, so the next statements is just for confirmation.
Thank you.
And then we can move on with your testimony.
Thank you.
Kindly confirm whether you received a summons from this Special Select Committee to give a statement to the panel of investigators.
I received 2 summons. One is summons to produce, and the other one is summons to appear. But just to provide some context, I was later called on the day that I was supposed, that was yesterday. That was supposed to be the day that I would appear, and the day before rather. And they said that they didn't see me. I said, well, I've been there, I've submitted the documents that I was able to retrieve so far. But they said they needed also my statement. I said, no, what you presented was summons to produce and summons to appear. So they verified and realized that it was an oversight on their side instead. So that is why I had to, come yesterday and, make a statement.
Well, Mr. Jallow, just for clarity, yesterday was supposed to be the first day you were supposed to testify, but unfortunately, the witness we had went beyond the allocated time.
Thank you.
Then we foresaw. Well, that's okay. Please confirm, did you submit documents after you were issued a summons to produce?
Yes, I submitted those that I was able to retrieve. But I've also mentioned the ones which I once authored and presented to the Ministry of Justice. One of them is the document relating to the sale of the cattle. I presented a report to the Ministry of Justice after the sheriff sale. The sheriff presented a document to me, and I forwarded it to the Ministry of Justice by way of an internal memorandum. That's what I normally do. But I couldn't trace that I also could not trace my report. A report I also did when I visited Farato and Banjulunding. I couldn't trace it. So those two documents, and I think those are the ones, because in respect of the sale of the cattle, I only made one internal memorandum which had an attachment. That was the one I did to the Ministry of Justice. Apart from that, the other report that came from the Sheriff's Division was, of course, handed to the Ministry. I also understand. But I did one report, and that report had an attachment of the records of the sales.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jallow. Mr. Jallow, can you please inform this committee when you were appointed as Registrar General at the Ministry of Justice?
I assumed that position sometime in November 2014.
Please continue.
Sometime in November 2014. I cannot remember the specific date, but it was in November.
November 2014.
2014.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long did you hold that position?
Of course, almost 4 years, because I was there 2014 to 2018 before I moved to the Registrar of Companies.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Chair, before we proceed, I'd like to apply for the witness's statement to be adopted and marked AJ1. Yes, please. Yes, Honorable Chair, and the documents that he submitted to the Clerk of the Assembly, the first one is a cover letter dated 25th July 2025 to be marked as AJ2. The witness also submitted an order of the High Court delivered on the 22nd of May and should be marked AJ3. Yes, there's an order dated 22nd of May 2017. Yes, there's a ruling delivered by the High Court on the 3rd of January 2018. We can mark that one as AJ4. The order delivered on the 22nd of May should be marked AJ3. And the ruling delivered on the 3rd of January 2018 should be marked AJ4.
I think we have on the 2nd of January 2018.
No, 22nd day of May.
It is stamped the 22nd, but the date, sorry, it is stamped the 2nd, yes,
Okay,
the same order.
Okay, that's fine. We've seen it. Yeah. AJ4.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
After that order, there's a inventory On top of the document, it's written inventory in Canilai, vehicles/machines. It should be marked AJ5. Honorable Chair, towards the end of the document, towards the end of the bulk of documents, is the document titled Inventory at Farato and Banjo Lending Farms, should be marked AJ6. Honorable Chair, the witness also submitted a document this morning. It is titled Inventory of Landed Properties Belonging to the Former President and His Close Associates. Should be marked AJ7. That is all the documents the witness has submitted to the committee, Honorable Chair. Very well. May I proceed? All right. Mr. Jallow?
Yes, please.
We can continue now. Can you kindly give a brief overview of the functions and mandate of the Registrar General's Department?
The Registrar General Department is one of those departments under the purview of the Ministry of Justice, and is responsible for mainly 3 activities. 1, registration of deeds. 2, registration of marriages, and 3, they also deal with the registration of industrial property.
Thank you very much. And you can just give a little bit more detail on each of these 3
Those
activities.
specific roles.
Yes, just to guide the committee, and we can move into.
With respect to deeds, as you may know, title deeds in respect of properties, miscellaneous deeds such as powers of attorneys and related documents are registered by the deeds registry, which is of course a subunit under the Registrar General's department. Now, with respect to marriages, all those civil marriages that you see conducted in Banjul are conducted at the civil marriages registry, also within the department, also within the Registrar General's department. And with respect to industrial property, the trademarks registrations are also done at the Registrar General's department. Trademarks and any other mark which by law is qualified for registration within the Gambia are also registered by that particular office. That is the Industrial Property Office.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Jallow, now we can get into your testimony proper.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Mr. Jallow, are you aware that in 2017, after the change of government, the Attorney General instituted a suit against the former president at the High Court? Are you aware of this?
Yes, please.
Are you also aware that after filing that suit, the Attorney General made applications to the High Court to obtain freezing and custodial orders with regards to the assets of the former president?
That's correct. No.
You're aware?
Yes.
Mr. Jallow, can you please explain to this committee what role you played in the institution of this suit? Were you part of the team that aided the Attorney General at the time he was filing the suit, and also at the time he was making the freezing order applications at the High Court?
I was not part of the team that aided the application, but of course I was part of the team that aided the enforcement of the subsequent order that was granted by the High Court.
Very well, Mr. Jallow. Mr. Jallow, I believe a copy of your statement is placed in front of you. Secretariat, can you please confirm that the witness has a copy of the statement he gave to the investigators yesterday? Yes.
They brought me a statement this morning to sign. I think I gave you all the
Yes.
copies back.
Did
The
you
one I
return
signed.
all the copies?
Yeah, the one they brought to me, because they brought it this morning and I signed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will give you a copy shortly.
It's okay. The one for today? You don't have that one? Thank you very much. Yeah.
You now have a copy before
Yes,
you?
I do.
Okay. So when I making reference to the
Yeah.
statement, I'll let you know and you can also take a look.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Jallow, after the application by the Attorney General to the High Court, you were appointed by the High Court as receiver?
That's correct.
Yes, and you were all immovable and movable assets were placed in your custody.
That's correct.
You've stated that prior to the issuance of the order, you were not aware of what was.
I was not part of the team.
You were not
aided-
part of
that aided the
it. But
minister
were you
in the-
aware that the application was going to be made at the High Court?
Well, not necessarily. I think I just got news of it and it brought to my attention. But I was not involved in the process.
Okay, Mr. Jallow. So after the High Court issued its order on the 22nd of May 2017, and it stated that all movable and immovable assets were vested in your custody and control. Can you, before we get into what happened after the order was issued, can you just list out the specific assets that were vested in your control?
I cannot remember the specific assets that were listed to be part of my custodial authority. What I know is that the Act clearly stated that I was to have custody and control of the movable and immovable assets.
You mean the order, not an act?
The order.
Yes, okay, correct. Mr. Jallow, you've attached a copy of the order,
That's correct.
but we've also received a copy of said order
That's correct.
from both the Ministry of Justice and and the High Court. So, Honorable Chair, I'm referring the committee to MOJ 5A. This is because the witness's copy of the order does not contain the annexures. If Secretariat can also provide the witness with MOJ 5A. Yes, please. You've taken a look?
Yeah.
Very well. Mr. Jallow, have you ever seen a copy of the annexures?
No, I'm seeing the annexure for today.
This is your first time ever
Yeah.
seeing the
It's
annexures?
the first time seeing the annexure.
Very well. Mr. Jallow, after the Attorney General obtained this order from the High Court, were you served a copy of this order?
Yes, I was not necessarily served with a copy of the order. It was brought to my attention, but I was able to obtain a copy for myself That was a copy I obtained from the judiciary.
You-
I cannot remember them serving me with a copy.
But you went to the High Court and
Yes,
obtained
I
a copy?
obtained that copy.
Okay.
In fact, it was part of a file that I kept for myself. But for the annexure, I'm just saying it today.
So the copy you obtained from the High Court did not contain the annexures?
No, I don't have it.
Do you need time to look at the annexures?
I think we can proceed.
Okay,
Yes,
well.
we can proceed.
No problem. Mr. Jallow, kindly take a look at MOJ 5A, paragraph 2.
Yeah. Yes, I've seen it.
Can you please read it out for the committee? Thank you.
That the custody and control of all movable and immovable properties are held by or in the possession or control of the respondent, his servants, agents, associates, and family members, or otherwise whosoever, as listed in the annexure marked 1 attached to this order, be and is hereby granted to the Registrar General.
Very well. Mr. Jallow, you obtained a copy, you took the initiative to obtain a copy of the order from the High Court yourself.
Yeah.
And you were given a copy that does not contain an annexure. Were you not concerned?
At that material moment, it did not occur to me, actually, and but that did not stop us from doing what we are supposed to do by virtue of the orders, what the order requested.
So, Mr. Jallow, how did you do what you were supposed to do with regards to these assets if you never took a look at the annexures?
Please let me clarify this. When the order was first served or was first obtained, do you want me to go into what we did?
Yes, we will get to that.
Okay.
But my concern now, and I
Yes.
just want you to just clarify this to the committee, is that you obtained the order.
Yes.
You read it.
Yes. I do.
I believe you would read it several times.
Well, I wouldn't say that I did.
Okay. So you
that was
just read it
your understanding.
once.
That was your understanding that we have custody and control of the movable and immovable assets.
Yes, at least you read the order once.
Yes.
And the paragraph that specifically dealt with
Yes.
your department
That's correct.
mentions a list of documents, or sorry, a list of assets.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're now telling this committee that you never took a look at that list, but you were able to do work. I'm a bit concerned, and if you can clarify
Yes.
that.
Actually,
The list is a little bit long, so maybe.
it's quite long.
Yes, so now we're going to pause
Yeah.
for 2 minutes and or a minute.
Yeah.
Take a look at the entire list.
I think I have gone through the entire list. I've seen it.
And you're confirming again that you've never seen this list before today.
Yeah, I cannot remember anyway. Interacting with this list, really, I cannot remember.
You cannot remember, or you've never seen it?
I'm not quite clear, but really, I don't think I remember exactly dealing with this. I know that the order specified movable and immovable assets, but I'm not able to say on top of my head whether I received this annexure.
Mr. Jallow, please take a look at the second paragraph, paragraph 2 of your statement.
Yes.
Mr. Jallow, you stated in that paragraph, the order empowered me to identify, secure, and take possession of properties, specifically movable and immovable assets
That's correct.
belonging to the former president.
Yes.
How were you able to do this without taking a look at the assets that the High Court, the list of assets that the High Court placed in your custody and control?
Generally, there was knowledge of most of the assets of the former president. And by virtue of that knowledge in the public space, you are able to trace those assets and take inventory of them.
Well, Mr. Jallow, let's let's continue. Immediately after you said immediately after the order was issued, you went to the High Court, obtained a copy that does not contain the annexure. What measures did you take as Registrar General to ensure that the order was properly executed, especially the parts that dealt with your department specifically?
Firstly, was to convene a coordination meeting with the stakeholders that were involved or who were to deal with the orders, execution of the orders. And that included, of course, the receivers of the companies, Augustus Prom, the Livestock Marketing Agency, and of course we also invited non-receivers as part of the task force that was subsequently established, and that included the Office of the Sheriff, the security, specifically the soldiers. We had a representative, and someone also was there from the SIS as part of the committee, the task force that we established. Of course, in the operations, we were accompanied by security for the first phase of the exercise. Now, when we convened after the meeting,
Sorry, Mr. Jallow, before you just get into the first meeting.
Yeah.
When you said you initiated a coordination mechanism, according to paragraph 3 of your statement.
Yeah.
Prior to convening this meeting, so this meeting with the different stakeholders that you have now mentioned, did you have to clear this with the Attorney General? How did you go about organizing this meeting internally at the Ministry of Justice?
Of course, it was in consultation with the Attorney General. Everything I did in this process, of course, I would bring it up to the attention of the Attorney General. Everything I did from start to where I ended. And immediately after the meeting ended, I also generated an internal memorandum to that effect and brought it to the attention of the Honorable Minister before we go into operations.
Well, Mr. Jallow, that coordination and small meeting you had with the Attorney General before the bigger meeting with the rest of the stakeholders, who else was present at this meeting? Or was it just you and the Attorney General?
No, sometimes it's just a discussion between me and him. For some of these things, it's not necessarily a meeting.
Okay.
But I will bring it to his attention that X is about to happen, and he will know about it, or X has happened, and I will bring it to his attention by way of an internal memorandum.
Very well. Mr. Jallow, do you have a copy of this memo that you wrote to the Attorney General?
It's one of those ones I listed to have, not to have been able to retrieve. That was my first correspondence in this exercise. I could not trace it.
Mr. Jallow, earlier you had stated that you kept a file.
Yes.
Yes. Where is this file?
I lost it. I could not trace it. I've been, moving suddenly from one point to another. So in the process, I lost my file, and that's where I have all my correspondences. The first correspondence I wrote, that was before we started the exercise, to the last one. I think the last one, if my memory serves well, would be a correspondence. It's a very short internal memo, which I attached the records of the cattle sales that was brought to me by the sheriff.
Well, Mr. Jallow, so can you remember when you convened the first meeting with these stakeholders and where the meeting took place?
I know where it took place. I can remember that, but I cannot remember the date. I wish I could just trace the document with the first internal memo I wrote in that regard. But it was held at the Ministry of Justice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jallow, apart from the stakeholders that you listed here, you've listed and also listed on paragraph 4 of your statement, who else was present in this meeting? Were there any other officials from the Ministry of Justice present?
I cannot remember on top of my head. There may be, but I cannot remember who it was. But I know I was there. And the other members were Augustus Prom. They are also part of that meeting. I think that's the one I did not mention. Yeah, those were the ones. So I don't know whether there was any official of the Ministry of Justice. But normally when we have meetings of that nature, we know some other members of the Ministry of Justice would be present. But I would not be able to, I'm not able to remember exactly who was there. Yeah.
Noted. Mr. Jallow, let's go to paragraph 4 of your statement.
Exactly.
Right? You said the task force was comprised of the Registrar General, that was you at the time.
That's correct.
Augustus Prom, represented by Mr. Louis Prom.
That's correct.
And the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency.
That's correct.
The Sheriff, SIS, and the Gambia Armed Forces.
That's correct.
Mr. Jallow, can you remember who represented the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency at this meeting?
I have to be honest, I cannot remember the name of this individual, but I will say something, maybe it may be, that may be the person. I met someone yesterday when I came here, and no sooner he saw me, he recognized me. He comes from the Livestock Marketing Agency. I believe it may be that person, I'm not sure. But there was a representative from the Livestock Marketing Agency that I interacted with on that particular day, and he was present at the meeting.
Does the name Mr. Ibrahim Acham ring a bell?
Well, he could remember my name yesterday, and I want to believe maybe he is the one, but I'm not sure. I don't want to confirm. But they really had a representative at that meeting. Whether it was him, I cannot remember, because people keep changing. So I wouldn't be able to remember. But I know that there was a representative from the Livestock Marketing Agency who was present. But the person I met yesterday also recognized me, and I'm sure maybe it has to do with that meeting which we convened at the ministry. Yes.
Very well, Mr. Jallow. Was there a register for that meeting where the attendees recorded their names and maybe signed?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. But as I said, I was not able to trace those records, because I had everything I do and submit, I will also keep a copy to myself, you know. So, but those copies are the ones I said I could not trace, except for those which I submitted to the Ministry of Justice.
Mr. Jallow, were you the chair of this meeting?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I was the chair. No, I don't think I was the chair. I cannot remember exactly, but I was not the chair. But
if you were not the chair, then who could have possibly been the chair of the meeting?
I cannot really remember. I cannot really remember whether, but maybe those people who participated may be able to remember whether I served as the chair of that meeting. But I'm not sure I served as the chair of that meeting. Yeah. But indeed, I did a memo after the meeting to inform the Honorable Minister that the meeting was convened, and that was the outcome of the meeting, and subsequent to that we were to go into operations.
By writing a memo to inform the minister of what took place during that meeting, essentially the minister was not there, isn't it?
Yes, he wasn't.
Then Mr. Jallow, you would have been the chair of that meeting.
Well, it may be possible, but you know, this has been 8 years now, so I could not remember exactly whether I was the chair. Because normally there will be someone from the ministry who may participate, and maybe we might have given the role of chair to that person, but I cannot remember. Honestly speaking, I cannot remember whether I was the chair of the ministry. But I did, you know, prepare an internal memorandum, which I, of course, submitted to the minister, and we discussed it before we went into the field for the operations.
In addition to the memo that you sent to the minister, did you record minutes of meetings for that meeting?
I cannot remember whether there were records of that meeting, but I know I had my own, because usually in any meeting I will do my own records, and from those records I can generate a memorandum.
So, Mr. Jallow, where is your copy of the minutes?
I don't have that.
You said you took.
I will do. But it's been 8 years. I don't have that. I don't have those things at this point in time. Minutes that I took in a meeting, I would ordinarily would not have that today. If someone could retrieve the internal memorandum, that would have been a source of reference for anyone who is interested in what happened in that meeting. But it was simply a coordination meeting of the stakeholders. But I would not have the meeting minutes now. Even if I had them, I would not have them now. Really.
Mr. Jallow, how were the stakeholders invited? This list, you can take a look at paragraph 4 of your statement. The list of institutions that are there, how were they invited to the meeting?
It might have been by way of a telephone call or a letter sent to them to come and attend. I'm not sure which one actually was the procedure used or the was used, whether it was by way of a letter inviting them or it was a telephone call. It may be one of those. But I know by virtue of the fact that they have been listed, we are able to access them to come and attend the meeting.
Who invited them?
It may be me. It may be me. I want to believe.
You know,
It should be me.
Mr. Jallow, I cannot remember. It may be me. I don't know. It's been long. It's giving me the impression that you're unwilling to answer the questions posed.
Not at all. Not at all.
Who invited these individuals, these institutions to this meeting?
They were invited by the Minister of Justice, and I might have been the one who sent in the letters or made telephone calls. I cannot remember exactly what happened, whether it was by way of a letter or a telephone call, but I know we invited them.
Is it normal for the Attorney General's chambers and the Ministry of Justice to invite critical stakeholders to very important meetings, especially where coordination of custody and control of the former president's assets are being done, to be done over the phone?
Yeah, that's a normal practice. That is very possible.
It's a normal practice at the Ministry of Justice.
I'm not saying normal practice at the Ministry of Justice, but that's a possibility. If we are able to access somebody by telephone, since this is a court order, which of course is at the attention of everybody that was a stakeholder listed therein, it will be proper that you can call the individual and you have access to them. If they are willing to participate, definitely the telephone calls will be sufficient. Council.
Mr. Jallow, is there a possibility that the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency did not take part in this meeting?
Absolutely no. They were there.
You are certain?
Absolutely they are there.
But you cannot remember who the chair of the meeting was?
No, I don't know. I cannot remember. But I know the Livestock Marketing Agency, they were there.
You are certain?
Absolutely they were there.
Very well.
All the stakeholders were there.
Mr. Jallow, the current board chair of the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency testified yesterday. At the time this order was issued, he was a director of technical services at the agency.
Okay.
Mr. Jallow, Mr. Cham, that's the name of the current chair,
Okay.
has informed this committee very clearly that the agency did not take part in any coordination. The agency never saw a copy of the order. The agency only learned about the order and the asset and the livestock being vested in their control through a letter written to them by the Minister of Agriculture.
By the Minister?
By the Ministry of Agriculture, at the direction of the Permanent Secretary at the time. What is your reaction to this?
That is news to me. The Livestock Marketing Agency, they were represented at that meeting. They were represented at the meeting.
You're 100% sure?
100% sure. They were represented at the meeting. They were there.
Well, Mr. Jallow. Mr. Jallow, before we move ahead, can you just inform this committee in detail how these stakeholders were identified and who identified these stakeholders to form part of this task force?
One, the main stakeholders were identified by the main stakeholders.
You can continue.
The main stakeholders were identified in the order of the court. The main stakeholders were identified by order of the court. The other stakeholders were identified by us.
When you say us,
Number
who
one,
do you mean?
Us, me as Registrar General, I identified the other stakeholders to join us. Okay. One, the Office of the Sheriff. We thought it wise to include the Office of the Sheriff by virtue of the fact that they have experience in the enforcement of court orders. And we thought that it was indeed necessary to invite the office of the sheriff to leverage their expertise. We also invited the soldiers to be part of the task force because at the time we are reliably informed that most of the assets of the former president were under their care. So for ease of identification and access, it was wise to also have them as part of the team. That was why we also invited the soldiers. For the SIS, there was a need for them to be part of it. They requested that they would want to be part of it to oversee, to witness the exercise. So we also invited the SIS.
Mr. Jallow, take a look at the court order again, MOJ 5A. You've just stated that all the, actually not all, but the stakeholders, apart from the ones that you invited, were invited to join this task force because the High Court order mentions them. There's a stakeholder the High Court mentioned
Who is that?
very clearly.
Which paragraph is that?
Take a look at paragraph 5.
That all the wildlife and other animals held by or in the possession of control of the resident, his servants, agents, associates, and family members or servants, okay, hereby cease pursuant to this order and are to be kept under the custody and control of the Gambia Wildlife Services pending the conclusion of the investigation initiated by the Attorney General. I cannot remember somebody from that department. I cannot remember.
Why weren't they invited to join the task force?
It might have been an oversight, but I cannot remember them.
An oversight when the court clearly mentions the wildlife, the Department of Wildlife?
Yeah, it could be. The obligation does not lie on me, actually, if you want to go that far. But it was an oversight, I want to believe. But I cannot remember somebody from the wildlife. I cannot remember.
If you cannot remember, it's because maybe they were not there.
Yes.
So now my question is, why is it that the Department of Parks and Wildlife were not deemed important enough to join this task force?
I wouldn't interpret it as deemed not important enough. I would not deem it that way.
Why were they not invited to join the task force?
As I said, it may have been an oversight.
Is that normal?
Well, it may not be
That
normal.
such an important department, government department that mentioned by the High Court were not invited, but other stakeholders or other institutions that were not mentioned by the High Court at all are invited. You have to let me finish what I'm saying.
Yes.
So other stakeholders that were not mentioned by the High Court at all were actually invited to this task force meeting.
By virtue of the fact that other stakeholders have been invited, it's an indication that this is an oversight. Otherwise, there is no reason why the wildlife will be skipped. What is special about skipping the wildlife? So the fact that the other stakeholders have been invited, it's an indication that it's an oversight.
Mr. Jallow, I have a concern.
Okay.
And I want you to provide more clarity for me and for the committee on how and why you're able to specifically remember every single institution and their representative that was present at this meeting, but you cannot remember who the chair of this meeting was, or whether there were other officials of the Ministry of Justice present at this meeting.
And that's my honest answer. You will not appreciate, but that's my honest answer.
Please continue and please give the committee more details.
I mean, it's my honest answer that I cannot remember exactly who the chair of the meeting was, but I can certainly remember that these stakeholders were present. Because subsequently, I have worked with these stakeholders except for the livestock. So obviously, there was no way I could forget that.
Very well. Mr. Jallow, do you remember the names of the representatives, apart from Augustus Prom? You stated the name of the representative of Augustus Prom. Can you remember the names of the representatives of these departments and institutions?
If my memory serves well, the one that represented the office of the sheriff would be Mod Musa Sise, yeah, from the Sheriff Division. And Mr. Louis, I think it's Louis from the Augustus Prom, myself, and this person from the department of, from the Livestock Marketing Agency was also there. The SIS joined subsequently. The SIS joined after that.
Who from the SIS?
One Mr. Tombong Jao. He was part of the team that, the task force, subsequently.
Was he not a member of the task force initially?
At the meeting, I don't think, he was not at the meeting. The meeting that was held at the Ministry of Justice, he was not there. But I had a request for them to be part of the assets tracing and recovery process. So that is how we brought them on board.
Very well.
Just in further rounds of the transparency, since they too are intelligence services, and if there was this request, I could just allow them to be part of it.
Who represented the army?
One Mr. Jata, I cannot remember his face name, but he was Jata. One Mr. Jata.
Mr. Jata.
Yeah, it's Jata.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, I am going to refer the witness to Gilmer 2 and Gilmer 3. The Secretariat can give the witness a copy of these two documents.
Okay.
Mr. Jallow, please read out the document marked Gilmer 2.
Gilmer 2.
You're going way further past the document. Secretary, if you can show...
This one is Gilmer 1A. This one is not marked.
Yes, here, Gilmer 2, that's the one.
Oh, this has faded out. You cannot see it. You cannot see it.
That is 2 and that is 3, huh? Gilmer 3.
Okay. All right. Okay. You mean I should read it out?
Yes, please.
Now this letter is this is a letter from the Ministry of Agriculture, dated 2nd June 2017, and it was directed to the Director General.
Please speak into the mic.
Yeah, it was directed to the Director General of the Livestock Marketing Agency, Abuko, and the heading is Taking Charge of Livestock. Following a letter from the Attorney General's Chambers and Ministry of Justice, you are required to take full control and possession of all the livestock purportedly owned by the former President Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh with immediate effect. This is a court order that should be honored accordingly. A copy of the order is hereby attached for your perusal. Ibrahim Sankare for Permanent Secretary. It's a letter from the Department of Agriculture.
Ministry of Agriculture.
Ministry of Agriculture, rather.
What's the date on that letter?
This is 2nd June 2017.
When did the High Court deliver its order?
May on the 22nd,
2017.
2017.
Well, Mr. Jallow, are you aware that this letter, it's the first communication that the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency ever received with regards to the court order and the livestock that was placed in its custody and control by the High Court?
Well, how this was obtained, I wouldn't know. What led to it, I wouldn't know. But what I know for certain is that we had a meeting in which the Livestock Marketing Agency was
I am not
present.
asking you what you know.
Yes.
You've read the letter out.
Yes.
You've seen the content of the letter.
I have seen it, yes.
What is the letter telling the agency?
That they should take control, custody and control. Take charge of the
What else is
livestock
the letter telling the agency?
to comply with the order.
What else is the letter telling the agency? You can take a look.
That is it. It's to bring to their attention the order of the court and to request for their compliance with the order.
Read the first sentence of the letter.
Following a letter from the Attorney General's Chambers and Ministry of Justice, you are required. So
You
there
can
was a
stop
letter.
there.
Yes. So there was a letter from the Ministry of Justice that went to them.
Read Gilmer, the letter marked Gilmer 3.
Gilmer 3. It's a letter from the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency and addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, wherein they said taking charge of this in response to the order letter. He said, I write to acknowledge receipt of your letter, reference EA/157/409/01/156, dated 2nd June 2017, on the subject caption above, and to seek further clarification on the court order for the agency to take full control and possession of all the livestock purportedly owned by the former president, Alieu Jallow, with immediate effect. The modalities and the conditions for implementing the assignment was not spelled out in the letter. A copy of the court order cited in your letter was inadvertently not attached. The Gilmer will move to carry out the instructions as soon as the principal and logistical modalities are clearly identified and documented for the purpose of transparency and accountability. I look forward to your cooperation in this regard.
Mr. Jallow, you can see very well from these two letters that the agency was only made aware of the court order through a letter from the Ministry of Agriculture, which follows a letter from the Attorney General's Chambers, and that in its response, 3 days after it received this letter from the Ministry of Agriculture, that it is the first time the agency is learning of the court order. So now, if you say that they were present at this meeting, it's very concerning, considering one, you cannot, to say that you are certain that they were present at this meeting is very concerning to me, because one, you cannot remember the minutes of meetings from this said meeting. Two, you cannot remember who the chair of this meeting was. You cannot remember whether there were any other officials from the Ministry of Justice were present, whether they were present at this meeting. But somehow you also are saying that you forgot the Department of Parks and Wildlife, but somehow you're very, very certain that Gilmer was present at this meeting when Gilmer has provided sufficient documentation to this committee to show that they were not aware of this order when it was delivered, and it took a few weeks before they learned of it and did not actually take part or never took control and custody of these of this livestock.
Council Gilmer was present at the meeting. They were represented. Gilmer was represented.
You know what we are going through now, or what is happening right now, is that there's documents to prove what Gilmer is saying. There are no documents to prove what you are saying. You are saying you cannot find the memo, you cannot find the minutes, you cannot find or you don't even know who the chair was, you cannot find the register of the meeting. It's very concerning for this committee, and also very concerning to me as well, that somehow there's nothing tangible to show or to solidify what you are saying to this committee right now.
Council, I can confirm Janneh was present at the meeting. I can confirm. Whether or not I produce a document to that effect, Janneh was present at that meeting. They are represented.
All right.
Yeah.
So what is supporting your confirmation? Or what should the committee use to say
Just
this is
my
what's
memory.
supporting your memory?
Yes.
But you cannot remember whether a secretary was present at this meeting. You cannot remember who the chair was at this meeting. You're forgetting a lot of things. So now if you say I can trust your memory, I'm a bit skeptical.
No. Ordinarily in those meetings, I would not call in a secretary to. You can take your minutes by yourselves, and whatever you want to produce thereafter, you can do so. But I can tell you for certain, Janneh was present at that meeting.
So are you saying you took minutes?
Yes, of course, I will take minutes, and
But somehow the minutes are nowhere to be
I
found.
will definitely not keep those minutes by now. I would not have them.
Why not?
Because what I needed with those minutes, I wrote it down. I did an internal memorandum and submitted to the Attorney General. So I ordinarily would not, be able to necessarily keep those documents after 8 years. Really.
Very well. So are you confirming now to this committee that indeed a memo was written addressed to the Attorney General
Yes, of
and
course.
submitted?
Yeah.
Are you saying that there's a possibility that this memo
Yeah.
is existing currently at the Attorney General's chambers?
I should think so.
Very well. Let's move on. Mr. Jallow, what was discussed at this meeting? What was the agenda for this meeting?
It was simply to decide on the modalities as to the operations in terms of implementing the court order or enforcing the court order. That was what we discussed. Basically, that was it, just to coordinate and know that we were supposed to enforce the court order. That was basically the meeting.
For coordination?
Yeah, it's for coordination.
Okay. So what happened after that meeting?
We immediately after the meeting, as I said, I did the memo, because usually before I do anything, I will inform the Honorable Minister. It's either sometimes we had a face-to-face discussion, verbal, but for most of the things, I would send them to him by way of an internal memorandum. As I said, I did an internal memorandum and discussed it with him and got his blessings, to go into operations.
Please continue.
So we went into operations thereafter, and as I said, we started with the service of the notice to all the companies and individuals affected by it. And during that phase, we...
Sorry, before you continue, you just stated that you facilitated service.
Yes.
Of the order itself?
Yeah.
Or just a letter, anything? What exactly did this service
It's just to
contain?
indicate the content of the order, to indicate that there's a court order freezing a particular asset. So if you were in custody of that asset or an occupant of the asset, we would ordinarily serve you with that notice to bring it to our attention.
Okay, but it was not the order itself?
Not the order itself.
Very well.
But the content of it.
Okay. So basically, we can say a summary of the content of the order.
Exactly. Just to say that there is a court order to affecting assets of the former president, and we are bringing to attention.
Okay.
And we will have meetings, with those people.
Okay. So before we continue from where you stopped, you mentioned that the order was served on different people.
Notice of the
Sorry, the notice of the said order was
Yeah.
served on different people.
Exactly.
By the way, who prepared this notice?
Myself.
You did.
Yeah.
Did you keep a copy of this notice?
Normally the copies will be in my file, as I said, but I lost that file. But I'm so many people will have copies of that notice, those who receive the orders. I did those notices.
Well, Mr. Jallow, so before we move any further on what happened after the meeting and actions taken, so you said the first course of action was to prepare the notice and serve. Who did you serve this notice to? If you can break down whether there were public institutions involved, private institutions, were these homes? Just
all the banks.
Tell us in detail who this notice was served to.
All the banks that were affected, we served them. We served individuals in occupying private properties. We've done that. We've also served some institutions, of course, belonging to the former president, so companies rather, belonging to the former president, and many other places where we have knowledge of the president's properties. We have served those notices there. And that was the first phase of our exercise, which took quite a while to complete.
So commercial banks?
Yes, indeed.
And other institutions?
Yes. Yeah.
Was this served to every commercial bank in the country?
I want to believe every other bank that was affected was served, and we had meetings with their managing directors or their representatives. For every bank that we went into, we served, and also had engagements with them in terms of making them understand the legal implications and compliance requirements of the order.
Mr. Jallow, when you say every other bank that was implicated, can you please clarify what you mean by that?
What I'm simply saying is that if it is a bank that had custody of accounts of the president, we would serve. In fact, if we serve all the banks where in this country, all the banks that really we had custody of the president's accounts, we serve them.
How did you go about, or how did you acquire knowledge of the banks that the former president had accounts in?
Well, of course, you're now bringing me back to the issue of the annexure. Maybe, at that time, we had the knowledge of that, the existence of those accounts, and we ordinarily, since the mere fact that we were told that accounts were also supposed to be frozen, we ordinarily would serve all the banks. So we did not pick which banks to serve and which not to serve. So we served all the banks, and that was, of course, accompanied by Augustus Prom to do that, because they were the ones receiving those assets.
When you say we, who are you referring to?
The team that was going around to serve the notice. We are with Augustus Prom.
Who are the people in this team?
Augustus Prom, myself, if my memory serves well, Modu Musa also was accompanying me from the Serif division. And then we had the security that was moving with us also. That was basically it. But that was just to serve the notice to the respective companies and individuals affected by the court order.
Mr. Jallow, you also mentioned the annexure and the accounts listed on the annexure. You're now taking me back to one of your most earlier statements that you've never seen a copy of the annexure. So how did you come about serving these banks? Let me finish.
Yes.
How did you come about serving these banks with a notice, with a list of accounts, or these banks with where the president and his close associates had accounts, when you never seen the annexure, or the annexures, I would say?
My lady, as my counsel, these things could evade your memory. This has been a long time. This has been 2017 to date. And you will agree with me that given the enormity of the tax, naturally one can easily forget. So, but I know for certain that we have served all the banks in this country with this court order, the notice of the court order rather.
So, Mr. Jallow, I agree with you. I agree with you. But this is where I will take you back to the importance of records.
Indeed.
Because have you kept records of all of these transactions, you would have been able to refresh your mind.
Absolutely.
And also aid this committee in its work.
Yeah.
But if you say that, oh, it's been such a long time, so records are bound to be lost, and it's not even such a long time. It's just been 8 years.
That's quite
Not
a while.
even full 8 years.
That is quite a
That's
while.
quite a short time for records to be lost, especially in a government department, like the Registrar Generals. From what you've been saying here, it looks like you did not keep records for the department's memory, but you kept records for yourself. And if you look at the High Court's order, you were not the person that was, you were not the department that was appointed by the High Court. It was the Registrar General's department, meaning that whoever assumes office at any point in time, as long as the order is standing, is going to be the person that should carry out the orders of the High Court. So now please explain to this committee why you personalized the records.
I beg to differ, my counsel. Every correspondence in respect to this transaction was, of course, submitted to the Ministry of Justice. From the beginning to where I ended, every transaction I conducted was reported to the Ministry of Justice. And as I said, there was nothing like I personalizing anything. It was not personal. I was reporting to the Minister of Justice, and everything I did, the Minister of Justice, I have always reported to the Minister of Justice. So, of course, that means the records for the ministry is there. They are not my personal, but of course, people will want to keep documents to themselves of things they do, at least for reference anytime you are needed to provide clarity, as in this instance. And as I said, I had my personal records, which I was keeping to myself. For every document I submitted to the ministry, I will have a copy. But because of my transition, I cannot retrieve all these documents. I lost them in the process. But otherwise, I had my own copies. Those were copies I kept to myself. And those were the few I was able to bring to the table. But the ministry had copies of everything I did.
Didn't you keep a copy of this file that you personalized for yourself at the department as well? So whoever was going to come and take over that office?
By the time I was leaving that office, in fact, even my mandate has even expired as far as assets of the president were concerned. So there was nothing even at that point in time to even transfer to anybody. My mandate as far as the execution of the judgment of the court has expired. I was not playing any role in that.
When did you leave office?
2018. 2018, thereabout, yeah.
Mr. Jallow, are you very sure that by the time you left office, the order had already been, the order was no longer in effect?
Yeah, for me, it was not in effect, because I was only to implement in 180 days. So I was not there at the time.
Are you aware of any instance where the Attorney General applied to the High Court to renew these orders?
No.
Or that order?
No.
You are not aware?
No.
So can you say for certain that this order are you saying for certain that this order that you're referring to was no longer in existence by the time you left office?
Yeah, I never had custodian control at that point in time.
You're very certain?
Absolutely. It's just 180 days.
Honorable Chair, I am going to show the witness a submission that we received very recently from the High Court of the Gambia. It is an application filed by the Attorney General asking the High Court to renew the order that Mr. Jallow is saying expired. And maybe before Secretariat can show the witness the application, the committee can just take a look. Honorable Chair, here's also another document submitted. This is the renewal order by the High Court.
Counsel? Yeah.
Very well. Honorable Chair, if the witness can be just shown the documents. And we give the witness 2 or 3 minutes to just take a look at all of them.
I've seen it. I'm seeing it for the first time.
Mr. Jallow, this is the first time you're seeing those motions, the attachments, and the orders?
Yeah.
So what have you learned from these documents that you've just seen?
This is merely an order extending the mandate to have a custody of this, but it was never to my attention. I'm seeing this for the first time.
Speak closer to the mic, please.
I'm seeing this for the first time. I'm not aware of this. I'm not involved in the process of the application. It was never brought to my attention. In fact, I'm not aware that it was ever obtained.
Mr. Jallow, if you see this, I am going to be very, very concerned. I actually am very, very concerned because you earlier told this committee that after this order expired, the 180 days, you were done with the whole transaction. And 180 days, if my mathematics serves me a little bit right, is about
6 months.
6 months. 6 months from May will be November, December? Am I correct?
Something like that.
Yes, around that time. So the order was renewed, you can see, at least twice. And you're now telling the committee that you are not aware at any point in time whether this order is renewed,
I'm not
was
aware.
renewed
I'm not aware.
at all.
At all.
So, Mr. Jallow, so you were informed about the first order, you had a copy of it.
Yeah.
Are you telling this committee that after the expiration of the first order, which should be around late November to early December, between November to December of 2017, you did not do any work with regards to the assets of the former president at all?
If I have done work, it would be work with the instructions of the Attorney General. Now, let me explain.
Go ahead.
There was a time of transition between Augustus Prom and the next receiver, the one that subsequently received from Augustus Prom. I remember there were
Sorry,
times...
before you go ahead, can you please specify when the date of this transition?
I cannot remember exactly, but I can remember the context. There was a time when Augustus Prom was to hand over to another receiver.
And who was this receiver?
It should be Alpha Capital. I was asked by the Mr. Binga. Mr. Binga said with the instructions of the Attorney General to accompany Mr. Binga. And I'm sure that is maybe by virtue of my involvement in the assets management and recovery process, my attention was drawn to accompany Mr. Binga to go and verify inventories that were done by Augustus Prom in certain locations. For situations like that, yes, I might have played a role. But apart from that direct role in assets recovery, I was not involved.
No role in assets recovery, no role in sales?
Of course, I played a role in sales. By virtue of the court order, that was the ruling of the order of the court. The ruling of the court, rather, granted by Justice Buba Jallow of blessed memory. I, of course, was instructed again by the Honorable Attorney General to witness the sales, and I went there to witness the sales.
Mr. Jallow, so therefore you cannot say that.
But that was still within the period of the first order. That was not outside the first order.
Mr. Jallow, I will in fact inform you that this
Yes.
was outside the first order.
Is it?
Yes. The order of
If you say
Justice
so.
Jallow was delivered on the 3rd of January.
The ruling here of Justice Jallow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the activities related to that order, all the activities carried out pursuant to that order were done after the order was delivered, or the ruling was delivered
Okay.
in January 2018. That
Okay.
is way outside the 180 days.
Anyway, I know for certain that the minister has instructed that I go and assist them. But quite frankly, I'm not aware of an extension of my mandate as per the order that you have just presented.
If you are not aware of the extension of your mandate, did it not raise a cause for concern for you that you were still carrying out functions related to that order?
I was
An order that was supposedly expired.
I am acting on the instructions of my minister, and I was not giving, the order was not directed to me. I think that needs to be clear. The ruling was not directed to me. The ruling was directed to the office of the sheriff. So it was on the instructions of the minister that I accompanied, I went there, but not that the order was directed at me. It was never directed at me.
So you were carrying out functions that were outside the order of the High Court?
No,
Because the High Court order of the 3rd of January 2018 was very clear,
no,
and you are not mentioned in it.
no. I did not carry out any order of the High Court which was not addressed to me.
I did not say you carried out orders of the High Court. I
Yes,
said you
yes.
carried out functions
Yes.
that were closely related to what the order of the High Court
I never
stated.
okay.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
To what the order of the High Court stated, and to you, the initial order of the High Court had already expired. Therefore, discharging you of all duties, responsibilities that the High Court had placed on your department. So now, how do you expect us, the committee, to believe that after the expiration of the High Court's initial order, you did not do any work regarding, or any work that is related to the initial order of the High Court?
No, I didn't do any work, as I said, based on an order of the court. But I did, of course, accompany people to verify inventories that were conducted by, or that were done by Augustus Prom. That I did. But in terms of orders of court directed at me, I did not have any such, except for the fact that with the understanding that I was part of the process, the minister has instructed that I accompany the sheriff. That, as far as I know. But in terms of an order of court directed to me, in terms of extending my mandate, I'm not aware. No one ever brought it to my attention, and I'm not aware of even such application before the High Court, quite frankly.
Mr. Jallow, let's pause and stay on this point a little bit.
No worries.
You were aware of the order of the High Court of 22nd May 2017.
That's correct.
You took up the initiative to convene a meeting of stakeholders that the order also mentioned, and even invited stakeholders that the order did not mention.
With the directives of my minister, yes.
Very
I
well.
invited them.
You did that. And then you carried out other actions, such as preparing a notice to notify banks and
That's
other
correct.
institutions,
That's correct.
and even individuals,
That's correct.
about the order of the High Court
That is correct.
and its content.
That's correct.
Mr. Jallow, you also took another step further to go and visit these locations.
That's correct.
You visited the banks, you visited private property that is supposedly owned by the former president. You also visited farms, you took inventory, you prepared reports. You did all of that. And then you were aware that the order issued on the 22nd of May 2017 was to expire after 180 days. After the 180 days, did it not occur to you to speak with the Attorney General or write to the Attorney General to ask about the status of the order.
The things you mentioned, you listed, maybe you need to understand that it's not everything that we dealt with. You mentioned the banks. We are not dealing with the banks. We did not visit banks for purposes of enforcing the court order. We merely serve notices to the banks.
I did not say that you enforced the order.
I'm just saying that because you mentioned it as part of the things I did. The banks were mentioned because we served notices on them. But banks were to be received by Augustus Prom. That needs to be very clear. Now, in terms of our role was indeed to trace assets. And as I rightly pointed out, we went out to all these premises where we have knowledge of the president's assets, and notices were served on all the individuals who were in occupying those assets, those properties. That we did. With respect to work done after the expiry of my mandate, of course, I've also mentioned that, and that was based on the instructions of my minister to go and help in the identification of those inventories that were done by Augustus Prom. That apart, I never played any role, because what happened is, by the time our mandate expired, the Commission of Inquiry has already been set up, and we were doing almost the same things as the Commission of Inquiry. And that was the time we started with the inventory of the landed properties. We started in Banjul. Remember, before we went proper to do inventories of those landed properties in Banjul and elsewhere, we first served notices. After serving the notices, we now went on with the tracing of assets, because it was within our understanding that some of these assets could be easily relocated. And as a result of that, you needed to take quick steps to ensure that you avoid a situation